established that caca and tuki don't work.
More formally known as Bosco, he's the first black animated cartoon character, created by Hugh Harman and Rudy Icing, who worked as animators at Walt Disney during that time. The pilot, Talk Inc. Kid, aired in May of 1929, and it blew up. Not only because animation was still relatively new, but synchronized sound was super popular, which is just a technique of matching audio with whatever effects are actually happening on screen. That said, a series of short films soon followed during the 1930s. And Bosco even saw a resurgence in popularity when it was brought to the small screen in the 1950s, even still airing into the early 1990s. But why was it so popular? Well, if you've been watching the clips being shown, hey, hi, welcome back. Beyond traditional animated antics that were popular during that time, Bosco himself was a jack of all trades, more like black jack of all trades. Singing, dancing, playing any instrument with ease, Bosco was the real black deal, because let's not forget that a lot of his tropes came from black stereotypes.
Right,
this was
I'm
important
sure.
because Bosco set the preliminary stage for what was seen as acceptable, as well as what was needed in order to capture an audience's attention when showcasing black characters. And that can be seen on full display with the Censored 11. And if you haven't seen the Censored 11, I'm really sorry what I'm about to do to you.
The Censored 11?
Let the show begin.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was not only the opening theme to the Warner Brothers Looney Tunes,
Right.
also the opening theme to the
I heard that every Saturday morning. Melody was in my household.
Melody. Simply put, think of a short musical that hosts a variety of characters, both known and unknown in the Looney Tunes universe.
Okay.
As for me, I genuinely love them. I can still recite songs to this day. But unfortunately, I've had to add a few more to my memory, like Coal Black and the Seven Dwarfs. As it says,
What the fuck did he just say?
I've had to add a few more to my memory, like Coal Black and the Seven
The
Dwarfs.
Seven Dwarves? Oh, hell nah, bro. Because what, black people can't speak? Cold Black and the Seven Dwarves. I've never even heard a black person replace V's with B's, but all right, where are we going from here?
Dwarfs. As it sounds, it's a racist reimagining of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. But they put duh in seven because, you know, black people don't talk good and can't articulate. And it also featured a whole host of fun characters. Prince Chowin, with his gold teeth and dice for central incisors, white as the over-sexualized black female lead, and the dwarves, cosplaying as U.S. soldiers because this is 1943 and we are full bore into World War II. So the war propaganda machine is in full effect, and we need all the patriotism we can get, which apparently includes over-exaggerated black stereotypes and physical features. But here's the thing you have to understand. Back then, this was a hit. The film received critical acclaim from white and black audiences alike.
Really?
Warner Brothers was praised for making it. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like black people were throwing parades, but back then, pickings were slim. So if you're able to make it onto the big screen and you've got black characters being played by black voice actors too, with authentic vibes surrounding your culture, sometimes you gotta take the win. Trust me, it's better than the alternative mainstream media. And remember, this is just one out of 11. Goldilocks and the Driving Bears, Jungle Jitters,
And you gotta remember, guys, none of this thing, this empire that we call America would exist, would be as successful as it is, would be as powerful as it is without black people. American history is black history. Black history is American history. I'm not saying it's not also white history, but I'm saying you cannot separate the two. And so black people have every right to want to see themselves depicted in art that is only producible because
For the everlasting
the infrastructure
receive my blessing.
created in this country to attract the various
Ready,
people that
steady,
have come and build up these artistic industries. All of this only was possible because of the contribution of the hundreds of years of unpaid black labor and everything that came after. Right, black people didn't stop building this country when slavery was abolished, right? Every step of the way, black people have played a crucial and vital role in creating this country into being the place that it is. And so when the artistic side of this country wants to produce art for the general population, you black people have every right to want to see themselves reflected in a positive way in that art.
Tom's Bungalow. These are just a few films that came out between 1931 and 1944 that exaggerated black physical features, enforced stereotypes, and depicted black people as simple, dumb, and one note. So you can understand why Warner Brothers wanted to bury these as soon as they realized that racism and bigotry was real, removing whatever they could from the airwaves, distancing themselves from it, and basically blacklisting, any of those films from ever seeing the light of day. And while that's
Stand with me. Let's dance.
Giving a tremendous success to the film. Originally from a very popular studio, the audience of all ages raised singing its praises. Descent of 11 essentially gave competitors in the industry the blueprint of how black characters should be used. Entertainment fuel as the proverbial jack in the box. To spring out and make a fast and then, okay, that's enough, back in your box. And this kind of execution can be seen throughout the following decades. Shows like Harlem Globetrotters and Jackson 5
bond is strong.
were successful, but it mainly came from the
Lush as the
popularity
moonlight.
of their real-life counterparts, while also playing the racist tropes that were previously set in place 25 years ago, not only by the cartoons themselves, but how black people were portrayed and thought of in general, i.e. simple, physically gifted, or musically talented. This also meant we weren't going to see the Jackson 5 discussing race relations while jamming out. Neither were the Harlem Globetrotters going to talk about new ways to promote equality. How could they? They were too busy fighting crime as superheroes. So these cartoons had permanent training wheels attached, meant to stay in their lane, be entertaining, and not rock the boat with any social or political messaging. The question is now, are there any shows in existence that bypass these stereotypes and social limitations while also meeting the 3.5 rule? 3.5 rule?
What's that?
Did you miss something while you were eating? No, you're fine. I thought of the 3.5 rule when I was doing research for this video, because a cartoon's lifespan is only 3.5 seasons on average, even less for cartoons with black protagonists.
Of course.
So shows that went over 3.5 seasons with black leads were top tier, as they not only had the ability to escape the biases and stereotypes set upon them by their predecessors, but had serious cultural impact and were able to connect with audiences regardless of race, age, or ethnicity. All that said, a show like that did exist, and ironically set in the same era as the Jackson 5 and the Harlem Globetrotters. It set a new standard for black character leads, challenged stereotypes that were set in place for generations, and even recognized how black characters were depicted and
Forest protector.
Dissipate! Out of my way!
Fat Albert!
Came up with something so dynamic, so positive, so
Oh, wow!
values and morals was the very show they created, right?
Man.
Oh, God.
Right.
Let's get this out of the way now.
Stand
Bill
with me.
Cosby is a horrible person. He drugged an innocent
Ready,
woman, and I
steady,
can't believe he got out of his 10-year sentence. And I wish I could associate this next sentence with damn near anybody else. But he did an
Look, fucking... He did some fucked up shit. We know that. We know that. But to say I can't believe he got out of his 10-year sentence. Have you heard about the Epstein files? I mean, the fact that he even went to prison is really just shows you that racism is still alive and well. Now, I'm not saying he didn't deserve to go to prison if the accusations against him are true. To be honest, I haven't really looked really hard into it. I was still kind of young and politically like uninterested when this whole, you know, Bill Cosby shit went down. But from what I've seen, it's, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire, and it looked like there was a lot of fucking smoke from what I've seen. But yeah, isn't that crazy though how history is messy like that? Isn't that crazy how some of the people who offer the best of this world
Add
end up doing some real fucked up shit too, man. And you just gotta live with that. That shit comes packaged a lot of the times.
godly amount of good for black people in Hollywood and media as a whole. Of course, there were other trailblazers that came before him, but because of his role as Alexander...
According to a Dave Chappelle skit, right? Don't know if this is true, but Bill Cosby paid, right, financed the podium, right? Paid for the podium or something like that, something instrumental that Martin Luther King delivered his I Had a Dream speech from. Think about that, right? It's like, God fucking damn it. If he really did all that shit, that is so fucking sick, dude. That a man who has offered so much in so many different ways, you know, was doing all that evil shit. It's crazy.
Scott and I Spy, which made him the first leading black actor in a drama series, along with a variety of other shows he did following that. Black representation and perception started to shift. They worked jobs with higher statuses like doctors and lawyers. People were being introduced to small instances of
and then the Cosby Show, man. That was such a positive image of black Americans and black people being broadcasted to the world, right? He was a doctor. His wife, I think, was, you know, she was either like a doctor, a veterinarian, or a lawyer. I can't remember, but a highly educated woman as well. You know, beautiful children. It was a very wholesome show. Man, he did a lot of good. He did culturally, but you know, it's rough.
black culture. And most importantly, at least in the industry's eyes, Cosby showed that there was a market for this type of television. So when he came to CBS with the idea about a cartoon centered around him and his friends getting into wacky adventures in Philadelphia, he got the green light. But unlike other cartoons with black leads that came before it, Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids were dynamic. Fat Albert was athletic, wise, able to lead, but also ask for advice and guidance when needed. And while the others in the crew weren't as completely fleshed out, they too had their own style, humor, thoughts, and ways to contribute in a positive way. This wasn't stereotypical humor, like an overall plot or one-way storytelling. There was depth. Each episode had Fat Albert and the crew helping each other, friends, or classmates through real life situations, like divorce, interracial relationships, even alcohol. And around the 1970s,
With one heart, we pray.
on a television show, great stories, and understanding of how to present serious subjects in an easily digestible way. Fat Albert was a runaway success, getting 8 seasons from 1972 to 1985. And yes, Bill Cosby was a big name, did voices in the show, and had cameos throughout the episodes. But it wasn't called Cosby and the Crew. Fat Albert took main billing. And he wasn't real, just a creation loosely based off of one of Bill's childhood friends.
I didn't even know this. Can I be honest? I didn't know that Fat Albert was a creation coming from the mind of Bill Cosby. I didn't know that.
But they made him a star when they very easily could have had the show center around Bill Cosby alone. So this was a really nice in-between for black cartoon protagonists in television. You got the popularity of a star to give the show legs, but you're not resting on your laurels. And you're challenging the cookie-cutter format.
If ever you find that the animals in Nod Cry behave in ways you do not understand,
the show was
just ask me and I will explain.
Black or otherwise. So if that's roughly 40 or 50 years ago, then why do we not have black cartoon leads everywhere in television? Well, an analysis came out in 1992 about television series with minority-led characters. It was called An Analysis of Television Series with Minority-Led Characters.
Very
and it
creative.
looked into 3 big networks, CBS, ABC, and NBC between 1950 to 1991. Now, it's no surprise, in the 50s and 60s, minority-led TV shows were basically non-existent, except for NBC. They literally weren't existent. But all that changed in the 80s when the numbers across the board increased exponentially. And if we look closer, black representation started to increase specifically between 1972 to 1981, rising from 6.2% to 9% for males and 5.2% to 6.2% for females. What's interesting is while their presence rose, their major or lead roles they played plummeted, jumping down from 9.6% to 2.4% for males and 4.6% to 1.6%.
So the more black characters we would see in these shows, the less important they became. Interesting.
For females. But why this sudden increase with a subsequent decrease?
Monsters do have their place. In the zoo, in your nightmares, but not in your living room. Pay TV and cable TV companies are seeking the right to charge you for the very programs you now get free. Sign the petition in the lobby of this theater. Let your lawmakers know how you feel in the fight against pay TV and cable.
Yes, it seems like even the most terrifying of creatures, the pink carnivorous Tristegosaurus, wasn't enough to stop TV patrons from switching over to cable, putting these networks in a bind. They were losing customers left and right and had to pivot marketing to a new demographic. So who didn't have the disposable income for cable and cassette recorders and watched 40% more network fare than their white counterparts? Black people. But these networks had to play it smart. They didn't want to completely alienate their white audiences, but they needed to capitalize on this untapped market. So they found a middle ground by adding more black representation, but not too black, avoiding all that confusing ethnic culture that white audiences might not understand and have to learn about. So they found the best of both worlds. Black audiences were just happy to see more people like them on TV, and white audiences could have the same social content with the glorification of white norms and values in their media. And these networks had a variety of different success in their programs. The experiment had paid off. But that's all it ever was, an experiment. Besides NBC, who had doubled down in the 80s, both ABC and CBS cut back significantly on minority-led television. And given that the numbers from 90 to 91 would be skewed due to not covering a full decade, you'd hope that it would be a fluke. That after this dip, CBS...
And look, it's a myth that people can't enjoy TV shows and stories centered around cultures they're not a part of, right? Just take a look at the hit shows that have come out of Korea, the hit shows and movies that have come out of Korea within the last 5 to 10 years, right? Shows that have completely, like Squid Game, completely captivated the entire world. Then, of course, just take a look at the entire anime industry. You got, you know, all of these people, white, black, brown, in America who can only speak English or maybe Spanish in some cases, you know, shit like that. They're watching these Japanese cartoons dubbed in Japanese, reading subtitles, and they're hooked. You know what I mean? You know, they just came out with a trailer for a season 3/movie for fucking Solo Leveling. Very excited to see that. You know, and so this is not, oh well, the market, right? Nobody wants to see this. Black people only make up 13% of the population. That's bullshit.
NBC would follow suit and give back black crack.
Right? Why didn't that apply to music, rap? The majority of people, you know, streaming rap music in America are white. They're just most of the people, right?
Did in the 80s, but you'd be wrong. In fact, it was the opposite that happened. NBC was the one to follow those other two networks, cutting back on their minority-led television programs. So when these big broadcasters were struggling, they turned to black audiences. And once they were able to learn, adapt, and evolve, either by starting their own cable services, merging with competitors, or practicing broadcast syndication, they cut the very shows that kept them afloat. And by not going back to the time when large percentages of black characters had lead roles, the black protagonists...
Bro, this is such a reoccurring story in black America. When white ran companies start failing, if they can find a way to appeal to black people, they do that, and black people keep that company alive. And then once they get their feet back under them, they throw them to the side, bro. And you know, this is why we criticize the raccoons who go and they shill for MAGA and they shill for the Republican Party, because that's exactly what's happening. They're just being used and will be discarded once they're no longer useful, right? Or not even once they're no longer useful, once the white base that they really want to appeal to, once they can turn back to them for reliable support, right? I was recently at a car dealership talking to a salesman, and he was telling me the story of Cadillac, right? You know why so many black people like Cadillacs, or why the brand Cadillac is closely associated with black culture and black people, right? Well, apparently, you know, I think it was during the Great Depression, when a lot of banks had failed, a lot of white people lost their money, right? Because the banks had failed, they had their money in the banks, and then now they didn't have any money. They didn't have any money to buy cars. They didn't have any money to get loans and shit like that. But black people were often at the time prevented from putting money in the banks, right? And so that's where the stereotype of black people keeping their money in sock drawers and under their mattress came from. It wasn't because black people were stupid and irresponsible. It was because they literally did not have access to putting their money inside of banks. Well, they had all this cash, and they didn't lose their money when the banks failed. And so Cadillac was willing to sell cars to black people to keep themselves afloat, because black people are the only people a lot of the times who could afford it. You know, they're working in these factories, they have that liquidity. And so when a lot of other car companies refused to sell to black people because they didn't want to paint their brand by having some black guy or black chick, mostly black men, right, at the time, some black guy driving down the street in their car, Cadillac said, well, fuck it, it's either this or we fail. And so they started selling Cadillacs to black people, right? But it's because it was like a symbiotic relationship. Finally, a half-decent car that black people were allowed to buy, right? And then, of course, it helped to keep the company afloat. But that's why Cadillacs are now seen as ghetto, because of that association.
All but disappeared. Just look at where black leads are played on television today. Yes, these networks may still create shows like Empire, Mixed-ish, Blackish, or Grownish, but that's it. Majority are found on black-owned networks or broadcast stations specifically targeted at black audiences. And that's great, happy to have it, but it's not enough. Now, I'm sure at some point you went, well, these are real-life TV shows, not cartoons. Aren't there differences in the data surrounding that? A fair question. The only problem is, what data? Finding well-researched information about cartoons in the same vein doesn't really exist, but I don't really think it needs to. For one, the sample size would be far too small to produce any type of meaningful results, which speaks volumes in and of itself. But also, this is the only real information you need. In this context, I view cartoons as the most authentic form of where these big broadcast companies' true intentions lie, because cartoons take a really long time to create. Just ask There's script writing, storyboarding, character design, and sure, you need those for live action too. But you don't need an entire team to animate every single thing you're going to see on screen. So when one of these networks decides to greenlight an animated show, especially one with a black lead, best believe they've looked under every rock to give it the best chance of being successful and not wasting money. So just like the slump that happened to shows with minority-led characters in the 70s, 80s, and beyond, the same fate was set for black-led cartoons. And while the 90s and early 2000s had some unicorns that were able to make it past that 3.5 rule ceiling, or just real lasting impression on its audience, the number of shows leveled off, plateauing, never really peaking over 4 or 5 at any given time.
Right.
So given that these networks have all this power, the most logical answer is to change what they prioritize. We stick with what we know, and in this case, create what we know. And if you thought black cartoon characters came few and far between, finding black creators in this space is like finding Waldo, except you're blindfolded. And someone gave you a copy of To Kill the Mockingbird. Talk about books I had to read the spark notes of in school. Let's talk about school. Like Massachusetts College of Art and Design, one of the top art schools for animation in the country, with an enrollment rate of 50.7% white, 13.6% Hispanic or Latina X, 6.6% Asian, 4.69% multiracial, 3.51% black or African American, and less than 1% being Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islands, American Indian, or Alaskan natives.
That's another tragedy, bro. The disappearance of Native Americans in this country and its culture, that is truly so sick, bro. What has been done to the Native Americans, it really is terrible.
It's just one. How about California Institution of Arts? 4.58% enrollment of black people. At least Savannah College Art and Design is putting up numbers with 11%. Savannah, you're in Georgia. You have a population of over 50% black people. Chocolate City is a hop and a Hulk skip. Yeah, there's quite a few reasons why there's a lack in black representation in schools that prioritize animation. Not having the funds to be able to afford top-tier equipment, or a lack of access to certain programs or workshops.
Yeah, bro, I remember when this other YouTuber, he was so surprised that I had an animation channel because his entire perception of black people was like, he was just surprised that I could draw as a black person. I don't even think I draw that much compared to some of the black people I know. Some of the black people I went to school with in Jamaica. Like, bro, there are dudes who fucking draw so fucking good, and chicks too. Black chicks and black dudes who draw so well. Some of the best art YouTubers on this platform are black. But it was just shocking to hear this from this guy. It was like, from his perspective, he was just surprised. And it's because the resources aren't being, it's just not a viable option for a lot of black people. You know what I mean? It just isn't, and they're not taken seriously, and they're not given the opportunities.
Can greatly affect your ability when competing against other candidates. But if you're wondering, how do we live in a world where I don't have to touch buffalo wings with my bare fingers and still be able to eat them, but black people still have the lowest median income out of white, Asian, and Hispanic people? Let me introduce you to any history book, anywhere, at any time. Post 1957. Even once you're inside the school, it's not like these programs are so good at teaching you the styles and techniques utilized in the Harlem Renaissance or the Black Arts movement.
Right,
sure, I found courses like race, erasure, and inequality, but this wasn't shocking, especially since they were adopted compared to all the other courses in general. And it makes sense. Schools are a business. The more students that can be converted into the job market post-graduation, the more reputable and sought after the university becomes.
Sure.
If the market was producing a bunch of black-inspired animation in film or television, sure, they'd incorporate with the basic skills of animation with this blackness in mind. But it's not there, so this is a moot point. But let's say you make it through. You're the lucky 11, 4, 3%, and that's assuming everyone enrolled is going to graduate. And now you're looking for work, ready to make your mark and change the world. Well, that's going to be kind of hard too. Like anyone looking for work in your given field after you graduate college, you need experience. I know, it's stupid. How can I have experience if I don't get experience? Let's move on. And connections, especially in this career. Dealing in television, media, just Hollywood in general.
Definitely.
It's ruthless. So getting a leg up on the competition by having a mentor, networking opportunities.
Yeah, man, as everyone knows, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And statistically, white people and Asian people, but especially white people, are more likely to have a family member or know somebody that can help you get the job, right?
Foot in the door can be a huge advantage.
You're this like black unicorn that came from this low income environment where you're just so talented and smart and hardworking. You managed to get into some kind of elite university or high level art program at some, highly accredited university. And now it's like you gotta fucking make your way into this world all by yourself, bro.
but finding a seasoned vet in that space is hard. Black creators are relatively new to this industry, and for good reason. Besides the previous point we mentioned, it's not like any of them are going to get hired in the 40s or 50s, and even if they were, who's going to want to make this racist nonsense? So there's not a lot of black producers, animators, directors, stylists that have been in the industry for an extended amount of time.
I don't know what else black people have to do to prove that they have something special. We have something special. I didn't include we in the first time I said it because I just don't put myself in the same category as some of the most talented and entertaining black people that we have. But again, the biggest streamers, black. The biggest musicians, black. Right? You know, I mean, it's just streamer university. There is no equivalent to that coming from, you know, yeah, sure, the criticism of it. Again, DreamCon, every white convention that was tried to, that some YouTubers tried to start, they all failed. And now it rivals, you know, the biggest conventions in America. It rivals Comic Con, it rivals VidCon, right? A convention that was put together by the handful of young black men who made skits of these. Right? What else do black people need to do to prove that they can be counted on? Shit, I don't know.
Who can make significant changes from the top or even in the middle, who can help balance or on board other black creators. And it doesn't take much to make significant impact even with the smallest of changes. Take Floyd Norman, the godfather of black animators.
Right.
He had a true passion for animation and studied all throughout high school and college. And he was so talented that he was picked up by Walt Disney after 2 years of study at the Art Center College of Design, becoming their first black Disney animator.
Wow.
A few years later, he helped bring Leo Sullivan, another black animator and newly graduated student looking for work, onto the Disney animation team. After working together for some time, they realized they had shared interests and values, deciding to take the knowledge they acquired.
See, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Working at Disney to leave and start their own studio, Vignette Films Incorporated, which sparked 6 animated films about black history and black historical figures, created the legendary Soul Train logo, and in 1969 produced an animated special on NBC that was loosely based on the life of a popular comedian and actor as they recalled their time growing up with their friends in the inner city neighborhoods of Philadelphia. Needless to say, even the smallest spark can create the largest of fires, but sometimes these networks control the spark in the form of tokenization and tight casting. A few years back, Netflix released an all-black virtual roundtable, which I'm going to reference heavily in this segment. It was comprised of various black figureheads in the animation industry, from directors to color designers and producers. This included the late Jack Knight, who was a comedian and actor who also...
Wait, he died? Oh, hell fucking no. I didn't know this guy, like, I recognize him. This dude is funny. I didn't know he died. Wow, that's crazy.
Wrote for and starred in the hit Netflix sitcom Big Mouth.
Well, it makes sense that I haven't seen him lately, because I remember this nigga was funny. You know, that's crazy.
During the roundtable, he spoke of how the industry uses heavy tokenization when it comes to black people. He even comments on himself, potentially having the very job he had because Nick Carroll, creator of Big Mouth, saw him be funny somewhere. He continued by stating that only a queer black could do this or cookie cutter black could do that. So this keeps black people restricted from specific projects, tasks, storyboarding, etc. But this isn't equal across the board. There are countless examples of white individuals writing, producing, and directing black stories and even voicing black characters.
Right.
But it shouldn't take the likes of Jenny Slate, who played Missy in the very same show as Jack, to step down from her role, as she started to feel more uncomfortable voicing this character, especially given the more black-focused stories that were planning on taking Missy during this upcoming season. Stating on Instagram, black characters on an animated show should be played by black people. Additionally, there can be challenges to being black in this space that are a bit more nuanced and hard to explain. Like Brie Henderson, who's a color stylist for Netflix and was a part of the panel as well, spoke to the climate she was currently working in at the time of recording, as the video had been released in July of 2020, so George Floyd had been murdered no less than a few weeks ago at this point. And she spoke about how she feels like there are eyes on her with whatever she's creating or finalizing in her design. Overanalyzing analyzing to see if it's too political or too pro-black. And you can sit there and go, that's just her opinion, it's all in her head. But for one, no it's not, because people are looking to get mad about stuff like this all the time.
Oh,
because
for
God
sure.
forbid, I don't know, a game studio has 2 minority leads in their open world stealth game.
Right.
It's a game about assassins and everyone loses their mind.
Yeah.
And 2, I 100% relate. I defy you to find a black person that can't, who isn't acutely aware of their actions or the words that they say, where they say them, when they say them, and who's around them. And it can be so frustrating because the majority of the time, black people in these spaces are just trying to tell stories. There's no black Illuminati hidden agenda. When Peter Ramsey co-directed Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, spoke of bringing Miles to life and the challenges faced given that it was a part of the whole book related to Miles the character, where he lived, who his parents were, what music he was into, what his clothes and hair looked like. That's not to say him and his team were interesting. Peter even mentioned that there was a lot of conversation around him being Black Spider-Man after the original Spider-Man. But he says that the most important aspect is that Miles is a fully fleshed out character, getting the audience to fall in love with the new Spider-Man when the majority of them didn't know anything about Miles, other than the fact that he got bit by a radioactive spider. And I think the statement 5 that summarizes how a lot of black people think. We just want to tell real stories about real people who have to be black, Spanish, Asian, whatever. The full spectrum of characters that come out of our experiences or experiences like ours. Being black, or any minority for that matter, allows for different perspectives, cultures, and experiences to be talked about and brought to the center stage. Not every experience of a black character is going to be deep fried with oppression and racism.
Right,
Sometimes it comes with the territory when we're talking about a character that, dare I say, isn't Western European.
Right,
Regardless,
definitely.
This is where we're at. Limitations are being set far too high and causing a barrier to entry, and less people are able to climb the ladder, thus making it difficult to create any lasting changes. Thankfully and luckily, I've been able to see some amazing workarounds. More black animators are utilizing existing platforms to either promote themselves or others. Black studios and support programs are popping up to give black people in the industry a fighting chance, which includes these big studios making staircase, I don't know, man, they just do that. It's kind of showy, because clearly there hasn't been much significant change, so I'm not holding my breath there. Please understand, it's not a bad black people section. I think at some point, I'm going to have to bring up these ideas because there are some imbalances, let's call it. But look, we're all trying to as a field we're pursuing. I get it. And those starting on level 1 have no control over what advantages or disadvantages are being assessed on level 1. And to be fair, then some of those on level 2 are doing what they can to either onboard more black people to flourish in the industry, regardless of the story of black characters, or they're doing what they can to produce, direct, and create stories with black characters. But it's clearly not enough. A lack of black creators is a lack of black characters. No matter what levers are or aren't being pulled, the results are the same. A lack of representation. Let's just ask it. Who cares? Why does there have to be black cartoon representation in our media? Well, representation in media in general affects our ERD, or ethnic racial development. Even if young is 6 months old, we show preference towards faces that look like ours in terms of ethnicity.
Yeah, not only does it do something for you positively as the individual consuming it, consuming the content, seeing people that look like you, talk like you, all of that, dress like you, but it really does help you be empathetic to other people and to open yourself up to other people, right? I remember watching that animated series, Jake the Dragon. I can't remember the official, name of the cartoon. What was that? Jake Lang, I think his name was. He was like a Chinese character with black and green hair and he turned into a dragon. That show made me go, oh, Chinese culture is pretty cool. Right, scene number 5 in Codename Kids Next Door. And you think, oh wow, it humanizes, right? But I think the biggest example is white people, right? Look at all the representation that white people get in media. And so by default, a lot of people around the world who aren't white, especially who don't live in America, right? Because black people in America are...
Man, there's this rock song. I hope we take the long way home, cause it's nice out. I hope we take the long way home, cause it's nice out. I want you to keep talking to me, so never finish your drink. I wanna take the long way home. out. I just looked up that lyric in YouTube, bro. I can't find it. I'm pissed. No way that shit's 11. I want to take the long way home because it's nice out. I want to keep talking to you, so never finish. So please don't finish your drink. I want to take the long way home because it's nice out. It simply isn't working. Bro, none of this is the song, dude. None of this is the song I'm looking for. No way. Look at this fruity out picture, dude. Dude. That was disgusting. Artists you should follow McDonald's. I want to take the long way home because it's nice out. Please, I want to keep talking to you, so never finish your drink. Get drunk and get charged for 10. This simply isn't working. Crying over spilt milk again. God, I'm a fucking train wreck. Dude, I need the song. I'm pissed. It only exists in my memory because I don't know the song. I want to keep talking to you, so never finish your drink. Hope we take the long way home because it's nice out. I want to keep talking to you, so never finish the drink. Get drunk and get charged for 10. This simply isn't working. Crying over spilt milk again. God, I'm a fucking train wreck. What was that song I used to listen to, bro? God, I'm a fucking train wreck. She lime, be lime, she lime. Dog on the end, on my back. I don't wanna cry, I don't wanna kill you, I don't wanna lie, I just wanna miss you, I don't wanna miss you on the late, I guess you're already done, it's this feeling. Don't make me get violent, wanna lean back, baby, some time.
Say what's up, girl, you think you low with a thug. I had your girlfriend on it. How we, cause you know that, you know I can spot it from the jump. You know I can spot it from the, I knew you were fake from the jump. You know I can spot it from the cut. Cause you know that Uzi in the cut. All we want is money and the drugs.
Dude, but I still want my train wreck song. Spilled milk again. God, I'm a fucking train wreck. I want to take the long way home because it's nice out. Talking to you, so please never finish your drink. I want to take the long way home because it's nice out. I want to keep talking to you, so please never finish your drink. This simply isn't modern. It does sound like modern baseball, I guess. Oh, Origami Angel, I guess. Yeah, it could be Mom Jeans. Was the singer male? It was male. Male rock. Hot Mulligan. I want to keep talking to you, so please never finish your drink. Raspy yelling. I want to take the long way home because it's nice out. I want to keep talking to you. Bruh. How do you not know either? Shouty emo, yes. Or no, it's bugging me too. You're still on the vibe. Fuck, bro. Pissed. Why can't I find the goddamn song I'm looking for? YouTube. I keep listening to all these songs that aren't the song I'm looking for, and I'm so disgusted. Ew. Ew. I want to take the long way home because it's nice out. I want to keep talking to you, so never finish your drink. Get drunk and get charged for 10. This simply isn't working. Crying over spilt milk again. The fuck was that? 4 fucking views, bullshit. I'm so upset. I'm so upset right now. I'm not happy. I don't want to keep talking to you, so never finish your drink. I want to take a long way home because it's nice out. What did I say? Crying over spilt. Crying over spilled. Crying over spilt milk again. God, I'm a fucking train wreck. That's also in the song. Aunt Mulligan does sound familiar though. It's a very small emo band whose lyrics aren't indexed. Oh my god, I'm pissed, dude. I heard a cool song and I can't find it. Why did I open YouTube? Oh yeah, Hot Mulligan. Hot Mulligan sounds familiar. I wanna take the long way home because it's nice out. I wanna keep talking to you, so never finish your drink. Crying over spilled milk again. Crying over spilled milk again. God, I'm a fucking train wreck. Hey guys, I really need some help because I'm trying to find like a song and ChatGPT can't help me find it. It goes like, crying over spilled milk again. God, I'm a fucking train wreck. I wanna take the long way home because it's nice out. Hey guys, I really need some help because I'm trying to. Hey guys, I really need some help because I'm trying to find like a song and ChatGPT can't help me find it. It goes like, crying over spilled milk again. God, I'm a fucking train. Hey guys, I really need some help because I'm trying to find. Here we are again. Here we are again. Here we are again. Here we are. Hey guys. Hey, I'm looking for like a rock song and I can't find it. ChatGPT can't find it. It goes like, I want to take the long way home because it's nice out. I want to keep talking to you, so never finish your drink. Crying over spilled milk again. Hey, I'm looking for like a. I'm looking for like a rock song and I can't find it. ChatGPT can't find it. It goes like, I want to take the long way home because it's nice out. I want to keep talking to you, so never finish your drink. Crying over spilled milk again. Hey, I'm looking. I really need some help. I want to take the long way home because it's nice out. I want to keep talking to you, so never finish your drink. Crying over spilled milk again. God, I'm a fucking train wreck. Guys, I can't find the song. ChatGPT says those lyrics aren't indexed. Help. I want to take the long way. I want to take the long way home. I want to take the long way home because it's nice out. I want to keep talking to you, so never finish your drink. Crying over spilled milk again. God, I'm a fucking train wreck. Guys, I can't find the song. ChatGPT says those lyrics aren't indexed. Help. I want to take the long way home because it's nice out. I want to keep talking to you, so never finish your drink. Crying over spilled milk again. God, I'm a fucking train wreck. Guys, I can't find the song. ChatGPT. Hey, I'm looking for like a rock song and I can't find it. ChatGPT can't find it. It goes like, I want to take the long. I want to take the long way home because it's nice out. I want to keep talking to you, so never finish your drink. Crying over spilled milk again. God, I'm a fucking train wreck. Guys, I can't find the song. ChatGPT says those lyrics aren't indexed. Help. It's probably modern baseball, no? I don't know. It's nice out. I want to keep talking to you, so never finish your drink. Crying over spilled milk again. God, I'm a fucking train wreck. Guys, I can't find the song. ChatGPT says those lyrics aren't indexed. Help. I want to take the long way home because it's nice out. I want to keep talking to you, so never finish your drink. Crying over spilled milk again. Oh my. Oh my. Bruh. Crying over spilt milk again. God, I'm a fucking. No, wait, it's modern baseball. Modern baseball sucks. Like one good song, bro. Modern baseball. Crying over spilt milk again. Come on, dude. Oh, it is. Wow. I found it.
When I was just a boy, we'll call it 15 or so. Or so. Play awfully pretty. We'll be lovers. Awfully pretty, but to me.
God, I hate this. It's so bad. Ew. But I miss you every minute of every day. Tell me why can't you? Don't make a decision, 'cause I'm getting tired of crying. Come on, I must have reposted that shit, right? It's probably not in my listening history, but where the fuck are my reposts? Where the hell are my reposts? Grr. Fucking grr. Why do I have 0 viewers? I'm PDX Mark. I gotta rebrand or something, bro. People don't fuck with me or something. Pretty goth girl dancing in my playlist. Where the hell are my motherfucking... Where the hell are my motherfucking reposts, dude? Nah, I probably didn't repost that one. This one's fire.
Your eyes staring into my eyes. Who am I but a guy with 2 eyes on the prize? And the prize in my eyes is 10 times the surprise in your eyes as I kiss you goodnight. Your smile is the fire that rocks my soul. Gonna remember it until I grow old. 'Cause life is too short, we gotta do things right. So baby, let's just party tonight. Baby, let's just party tonight. Your smile is the fire that rocks my soul. Gonna remember it until I grow old. Cause life is too short, we gotta do things right. So baby, let's just party tonight. Baby, let's just party tonight.
40 days a night gon' coil me up. Oh my god, I missed that song. But, dude, you know what sucks? Hella shit-stained dick. In Marvel Rivals and Genshin Impact, I try to open a menu and they got me watching cutscenes, bro. Like, what is this? Stop. I don't want to watch this. I guess it didn't change anything, but it felt like it didn't let me switch over here immediately. Last time I opened this menu. I felt like I went Wish, right? And it forced me to watch this bullshit right here. I swear to God. It was disgusting. It didn't let me switch right. Like, it's gross. I hate that. And it does when it does that in Rivals, it's even worse, bro. And that's why I'm bringing it up. It's like, bro, I just want to look at the skin. Stop moving. Jesus Christ. I just want to look at the skin. Why are you going a million miles an hour in every direction? The game's about to start. I don't have time to watch your guys' dumb animation. Like, what? Ridiculous. 1 hour stream, 0 views. Rest in peace. My career.